Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Jordan, and if you can tell by the title of today's story, I'm gonna be telling you guys about the time my friend's boyfriend almost fucking killed us for basically no reason other than he was psychotic. Okay? Yay! Okay, so this story takes place when I was in high school. A lot of my crazy stories happened when I was in high school because I went to high school in Las Vegas. Very interesting, like, city, very interesting people. Just fucking stupid. Okay, I need to give the girl, I'm looking at this Rick painting that I have from Rick and Morty, so I'm gonna call this bitch Rick. So I was friends with this girl named Rick, and like I said, if you watch any of my other story times, you know when I was like 14, 15, I was fast, okay? Like, fast as hell. I was bad, I was a liar, I was just bad. And Rick was the same fucking way. So we bonded like immediately because I could tell that she was on that type of bullshit that I was on. She could tell I was on the type of bullshit that she was on, whatever. So Rick always had a thing for older guys ever since I met her. Well, I only knew her for a little bit, but since I knew her, she had a thing for older guys. And I don't mean older as in like our high school older, because I was talking to older dudes like 18 when I was that young in high school. But when I say Rick had a thing for older guys, I mean like 21, 22 kind of guys, which looking back, it's not even Rick's fault because those guys knew that it was wrong. Rick and I were naive little girls. They were grown men. They knew better, you know? So, but as far as I can remember, she liked older guys, and older guys preyed upon her, liked her. I'm speaking from like me looking back now. Like back then, I'm just like, oh my god, like older boys like you, like you're so fucking cool, like we're so hot, like we're so cool. Fucking stupid. Okay, anyways, so we'll just call him Demetrius. I need to give Rick a girly name. We'll just call her Rick. So Rick was talking to this dude named Demetrius. Now Demetrius was way older than us. He was like 22. Keep in mind, we're like 14 or 15 years old. I don't really remember, but we're like 14, 15. Rick was like fucking 22. And I knew that she had been talking to Rick for a little bit. She had met him at the mall while she was out with one of her other homegirls, whatever. And I knew a little bit about him. I knew that he had a baby. That's red flag number one. We were fucking about to be stepmoms at 14, 15 years old. But I knew that Demetrius had a baby, and I knew that he was crazy in that like sense. He was crazy as fuck. And this is all what I know coming from Rick's mouth. So she tells me a little bit about Demetrius, blah, blah, blah. One weekend, she's like, do you want to come over to my house? Like, I think I'm going to link with Demetrius finally. Because, like, they had met at the mall. And they had been texting. And, like, I don't know what was up with, like, text or, like, situationships. But boys would always, like, I don't want to call him a boy because this was a grown man. But boys would always show how crazy they were. And, like, when you get around them, like, not. So she had, like, seen how crazy he was or heard how crazy he was from him, like on the phone, because they had only met at the mall. They hadn't linked since then. So she's like, you know, I want to link with him, but I'm scared to go alone. Like, will you come with me? And me being my little fast tail, I'm like, of course, of course. She's like, okay, like he can bring one of his homeboys, like to make you more comfortable. And I'm like, okay, girl, like, yeah, sure. Like, bitch, if my daughter did this, I would beat her ass. So I'm like, okay, girl, sure. She's like, well, his homeboy's gonna be a little bit younger. Is that okay? I'm like, how young? She's like, his homeboy's gonna be 19. Come to find out, his homeboy was his little brother, who was a fucking psychotic piece of shit himself. So, but that's either here nor there. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So we go through school, blah, blah, blah. Friday, I go to her house after school. We take the bus back to her house. She's like nervous as fuck. Like the whole entire day, Friday, this bitch was like barely talking. Like we were sitting together at lunch, she was barely talking. I had class with her, she was barely talking. Like I was just like, what the fuck? So when we get back to her house, I asked her like, what the fuck is like, what is wrong with you? Like what's wrong? She's like, I'm just really nervous to meet him because he got mad at me last night. I'm like, mad at you for what? Like what? Mad at you for what? She's like, because I went to the basketball game last night. Our basketball games were on were they on Thursdays? Sometimes they were on Thursdays, or it might have been a football game. I don't know. She went to some game, and he was mad that she went to a game. Bitch, we're in high school. Like, why are you mad? Wait, no, it must have been a basketball. I don't know. But why are you mad that she went to a high school game? Bitch, she's in high school. I'm like, oh my god, like, what did he say? She's like, he just told me that, like, he's mad at me and he hasn't really been talking to me that much today. Like, he thinks I was fucking off on him. Or they call it, I don't want to say this word because it's going to offend people. I'll just say flagging off, but take away the L. That's what it is called when your dude thinks you're cheating on him or you're fucking around on him. You're flagging. Take out the L off. So he's like, he thinks I'm flagging off on him, blah, blah, blah. Like she's stressing out. I'm like, girl, like, well, did you even do anything? She's like, no, I wasn't talking to nobody at the game. Like, I just went with some of my other friends, blah, blah, blah. Like, this bitch is stressing. I'm like, oh, like, do you not want to hang out with him? Like, we could just do something at your house, blah. She's like, no, I really want to see him because I want to tell him, like, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, okay. Like, I'm just like, bitch, I'm like in an awkward position at this point because now I'm kind of like, well, why is he so angry? Because she was making it seem like he was mad as fuck. So I'm like, okay, like, well, if that's how you feel, like, I don't know. Like, I don't really know. So I don't even know what she told her mom we were going to go do, but we were leaving the house. She told her mom, like, oh, let's just say she told her mom we were going to the movies or something. I have no idea what she told her mom we were going to go do. But it comes around to, like, 8 o'clock. She tells her mom we're going to go to the movies or whatever the fuck. But we just walked down the street, and Demetrius and his homeboy, which is his brother, picked us up in his car. And Demetrius had a nice little car. He probably had a nice chunk of change, probably because he was... You'll find out what Demetrius was doing. Probably because Demetrius was doing shit he wasn't supposed to go do. So we get in the back seat because his brother, homeboy, whatever, is in the front. Demetrius is in the driver's seat. We get in the back seat. Nobody, like, says anything when we get in the car. So I'm like, hi. Like, what the fuck? Like, nobody's talking. So I'm like, hi. The homegirl's like, hey. Demetrius is like, what up? Like, he just does that. His, like, demeanor is, like, off. Like, his demeanor is just not, like, cool. The homeboy slash brother is in the front seat. He's like, what up? Like my energy, like, hi. He's like, what up? Demetrius, what up? My homegirl. Hi. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck are you guys doing? So, the homeboy's like, we're gonna go get food. Like, y'all want something, blah, blah, blah. And the homegirl's like, oh, yeah, what are you guys gonna go eat? Like, she, maybe looking back, maybe she was just one of those girls that acted different around boys. But no, because she must have just been fucking scared. I don't know, but I was just like, what the fuck is going on? She's like, yeah, what do you guys want to go eat? What do you guys want to eat? She's like, we're finna go get Roberto's. Roberto's is like this, like Mexican restaurant, kind of like fast food place that we have in Vegas. I think they might have it in California. So we go get Roberto's, blah, blah, blah. We weren't allowed to go in. We were not allowed to go inside the Roberto's. We had to sit in the car. Which, looking back, like, we could have literally stole your car. We could have literally stole your car. So we had to sit in the car. We weren't allowed to go in. They went in. They got the food, blah, blah, blah. They come back out. Demetrius like, we finna go to my house to eat. I'm like, what? Because I don't know what I was under the impression that we were doing, but I wasn't under the impression that we were going to go back to Demetrius' house. So I, like, look at my homegirl, and I'm like, and she's like, looks at me. And Ashley's looking at me. She goes, okay, that's fine. Ashley's looking at me. I'm like, bitch, what? So I'm like, so now I'm kind of feeling panicked because I'm like, we're gonna go back to his house. Like, wait a minute, like that. I don't know what the plan was, but I thought we were just gonna sit in the car and like chill or something. She's like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So he takes us back to his house. Now, I'm not even gonna say Vegas is like, it has like, I'm not gonna make Vegas seem like it is the scariest place in the world because it's definitely not. But there is, for me, I've lived in a pretty nice area most of my life. So when I go to certain parts, different places, I get a little timid, a little nervy. He lived in an area that would make me a little nervy, to say the least. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. So we end up going back to his house. Like I said, the area he lived in made me a little terrified. I keep kicking my fucking tripod, to say the least. We get out the car, we go into his apartment. So we get into his apartment. Immediately, it's a man's home. It's like, it's raunchy, it's nasty in there. It's gross, to say the least. Like, his couch is, like, you know, when somebody's house is dirty and you sit on their couch and you don't put your back on it because their couch is dirty. That's how Demetrius' house looked. I didn't want to lean back on his couch because I thought he was dirty. You know, I just kind of sat there like, why do you have me over here? So we all sit on the couch, blah, blah, blah. We're eating our food. The homegirl and Demetrius are barely talking. I'm talking to his brother, the homeboy, whatever the fuck he is. Like, just like on some cool shit. Like, oh, I'm Jordan. Like, nice to meet you. What'd you do today? Like, you know, because it's awkward in here. And Demetrius, out of nowhere, he like talks to the homegirl. And he's like, so what the fuck you do last night? And she's like, I didn't do anything, Demetrius. I just went to the game, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I didn't fucking tell you could go to no game. I'm like, oh my God. I am awkward when it comes to my homegirls arguing with their boyfriend. Like, if you get out of hand, of course I'm gonna speak up for the homegirl. But like at that point, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So he's like, I didn't fucking tell you to go to the game. She's like, Demetrius, like, I just really wanted to go to this game. Like my friends were going, I really wanted to go. He's like, I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, and his homeboy / brother isn't saying anything. Like at this point, Demetrius is starting to raise his voice at my friend, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what the fuck is going on? So I start like looking at them. Demetrius looks at me and goes, what the fuck you looking at? I said, what? What? Demetrius looks at me and he goes, what the fuck you looking at? I said, what? And then the homeboy's like, like just chill, keep that shit over there. I'm like, yeah, keep that shit over there. Keep it over there. Because I just said, like, I just was looking at you because you're yelling at my friend. So he's like, let me talk to you in the room. Let me talk to you in the room. And I said, because I'm like getting nervous at this point. I said, could you just stay out here? Like, because he seemed really angry and I've seen like a lot of violence. And that just makes me uncomfortable. It would absolutely break my heart to know that we were so young and my friend was about to go get her ass beat in the room. So I'm like, can she just stay out here? He's like, I'm not fucking talking to you. The homeboy is like, bro, stop talking to her like that. Talking about me. Like, oh my God, let me find out you like me, boy. Let me find out you like me. But I'm just like, no, just like let her stay out here. Like, you guys can talk out here. Like, I'll go in the room if you guys want to be alone. So he's like, okay, then go in the room. So me and the homeboy, we go into, I don't even know whose fucking room it is, but it was dirty in there. I'm going to assume it was Demetrius. I wouldn't say it, but So we close the door. He's like, I don't even know like what he's like so mad about, but he's like, I didn't fucking tell you could go to no fucking game, blah, blah, blah. And then I just hear something fucking break. So I open the door and I'm like, bro, like we need to go. So he's like, go in the fucking room. And I'm like, I just don't even know what the fuck to say. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what the fuck? So I'm like, no, like we need to go. Come on. She's like, it's fine, it's fine. I'm like, this is not fine. Like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know why he's so mad. So I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know why you're so mad at her, blah, blah, blah. He's like, because this is my bitch. Don't worry about what the fuck we got going on. This is my bitch. I'm like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, she just went to a fucking game. Like, you gotta calm down. And I'm scared. Because, like I said, Demetrius was crazy. So I'm scared as fuck. Like, this is my friend. I can't just let her, like, get yelled at by this grown-ass man. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm like, Rick, like this, like we need to go, like this is a bad idea, blah, blah, blah. And Demetrius is like, stop fucking talking to her. And I'm like, oh my God, like I don't know what's going on. So the homeboy's like, bro, like chill out, let me talk to you in the room, So I go sit by Rick on the couch and Demetrius goes to talk to his homeboy in the room. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are you so fucking mad? She's like, he had a hard day. Like, I guess he had a hard day with his baby mama. Like, he's just taking it out on me. I'm like, this is not cool. Like, we need to go back to your house. Like, come on now. She's like, I know. He's just having a hard day, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, Rick, you don't know. Like, this is not fun anymore. This isn't fun anymore. Like, he's scaring me. So, Demetrius and his homeboy / brother come up to him, and Demetrius is like, I'm finna take y'all home. I said, okay. Okay. Fucking Rick's ass was like, I don't want to go home. No, get up, we're going home. I'm like, girl, no. So I'm like Rick, like I think it's best we go home. Like he's in a really bad mood right now. Like you don't want to be around this. When he comes, I was like, when he calms down, I'll come back over here with you. Be like, we gotta go. Like we need to leave. So he's like, no, shorty, get up. Like it's not an option. I'm gonna take you home. And I'm like, and Rick is just like, I'm like, come on, can we take the ride home when we have it, please? Can we take the ride home when we have it? So finally, I'm able to get this bitch Rick to get up, and I walk out the door first because I'm ready to fucking dip. So when we get to his car, this car drives by, like behind his car, super slow, and so fucking Demetrius, he like before he gets in the car, he's like looking at the car, he's checking that car out, and I hear him say, "Oh shit." And I'm, what the fuck is oh shit? Unlock this door. What the fuck is oh shit? So we get in the car. This nigga, I don't even like saying that N-word. I'm sorry. I don't like saying the N-word because I think I can get my video demonetized. But so this dude puts his shit in reverse and starts reversing out of the parking lot so fucking fast. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And Rick is just sitting there, like, bitch, you got us in this position and now you're looking at us like. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So he starts reversing out super fast and he's like speeding through his apartment complex, and then the fucking car that we seen go behind his car starts like following the car out, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what the fuck is going on? So he just like starts speeding out of the apartment complex. He goes onto the street. He starts speeding. He ran a fucking red light, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And they start like talking about something. Like Demetrius and the homeboy start like about something in the front, and fucking what's their name? Rick is like, and I'm like, what? She's like, you didn't hear him? I'm like, what are you talking about? That's his baby mama's car. I'm like, oh my god. What? She's like, that's his baby mama's car. That's what he just said. Demetrius is like, stay the fuck out of my mouth. I'm like, so his baby mama knew we were at Demetrius's house, or she somehow found the fuck out or something, and this bitch was pissed. She was pissed off. She's basically like fucking trying to chase us through traffic. Demetrius is driving like a fucking moron to keep this bitch away from us. I'm like, oh my god, she's gonna kill us. She is going to kill us. She's gonna kill us. So Demetrius' phone starts blowing up, and it's his baby mom calling. She's like, pull the car over, like, just like going crazy. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this cannot be real life. This can't be real life. This can't be real life. It was fucking real life. So Demetrius just pulls off into a fucking gas station. He pulls off to the side to a gas station. His baby mama follows the fucking car in there. I'm like, you idiot. Why did you pull over? Like, what's going on? Why'd you pull over? So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So Rick is in the back, scared fucking shitless. His big mama wasn't a tiny lady, to say the least. She wasn't a tiny lady. So she said, what bitch do you have in the fucking car? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, she's like, these are my little cousins. Like, girl, these are my little cousins, because we're younger. He's like, these are my little cousins. Like, you're fucking crazy. You're tripping. And I'm like, I'm his cousin. I'm not his cousin, but I'm his cousin today. Like, I'm just scared. So she's like, open the fucking door. Open the fucking door. So she goes to Rick's door and opens it up. And Rick is like a fucking deer in headlights. This stupid bitch. We were supposed to be his cousins. Calm down. So I'm like, she's like, y'all his little cousins? Rick is just like, I'm like, yeah. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm scared as fuck. She's like, if these are your cousins, then why the fuck weren't you answering the phone? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, because they're here from out of town. I want some time with my little cousins. Like, you're tripping. You're scaring them. You're crazy as fuck. And I'm like, look, I do not know what to say. So she slams Rick's car door back. She slams the door that Rick is at back. And I'm just like, what the fuck? The homeboy / fucking brother is just sitting in the seat like, as if this is fucking normal. This is not normal. So they're arguing, and then we just see Demetrius give her a little like, and he gets back in the car. He just puts the shit in drive and starts driving. This bitch Rick starts crying. I'm like, I don't even know what to say. She's like, you told me you were done with your baby mama, blah, 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 blah. He says, and I quote, bitch, shut up. And I'm like, I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm like, this is a wild event for me. I don't do this every weekend. So I'm like, and you know what she does? She shut up. She shut up. And then when he dropped us off at her house, he got out, gave her a kiss, and we went in her house. And I was like, when we got in her house, I'm like, what the fuck was that? She's like, I told you he had a hard day with his baby mama. Like, he didn't even mean it. Like, we're gonna talk about it. So yeah, that is the story of when my friend was fucking with somebody's baby daddy, and I don't even know what I'm gonna caption this fucking YouTube video, but my friend was fucking with somebody's baby daddy, and the baby mama found us and tried to kill us. So yeah, it was horrible. I don't think her and Demetrius fucked with each other that long after that, because his baby mama was a psychopath. So yeah, that was the story. Thinking back, we were really stupid and we put ourselves in a lot of danger, so don't do that. But I hope you guys liked the story time, and bye, homegirls.